Well, a new high-tech device that detects the deadliest form of skin cancer is now available. It's called MelaFind and allows dermatologists to see below the skin without making any cuts or incisions. The UConn Health Center is the first dermatology practice in the region to use it. And joining us live to tell us more about that is Dr. Jane Grant-Kels. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So tell us how the MelaFind works.
The MelaFind uses 10 wavelengths of light and an algorithm that evaluates 75 parameters to tell us whether the lesion is organized or disorganized, and that helps us decide whether to biopsy a lesion or not. So when we're unclear whether a lesion needs to be biopsied, this is another tool to help us determine whether it's appropriate.
Now, this is supposed to be less invasive, right? I mean, because that's a lot of the negative part of the,
right,
whenever you're going to get tested or something like that for skin cancer. You know, it can be invasive. You're left with scars most of the time. This eliminates that, right?
There's not invasive at all. There's no pain. There's no cut. There's no scar. But, you know, the ultimate test is the biopsy. So this is just another tool that helps us determine whether we have to do the biopsy. So if the lesion's on someone's face, it would help us determine that we don't need or do need to biopsy, and it just gives the patient a little bit more confidence that we're doing the right thing.
Any cons to this new technology?
Actually, there are no cons. I mean, it's completely painless. It's very sensitive. The problem is it's not as specific as it is sensitive. So it will tell us yes or no whether we need to biopsy, but sometimes it overcalls and tells us to biopsy more often than we need to. But when it tells us not to biopsy, we can feel pretty confident that we don't need to.
Now, this could be a breakthrough when it comes to melanoma, right? It's the deadliest form of skin cancer, but still 76% of Americans don't get tested. Or don't get
that. Well, you know, there's a shortage of dermatologists, and obviously everybody needs, when they're middle-aged or older, and if they're fair-skinned, or particularly if they have a family history of skin cancer, they do need to get a full-body skin check by a dermatologist. So that's a big problem, that there aren't enough of us in the field.
And another important thing, obviously, it's summer. Put on that sunscreen.
And protective clothing, and avoid the midday sun.
Obviously. Thank you so much,
You're
Dr.
welcome.
Jane Kels. I really appreciate you being here.